Well, we're pretty quickly coming up on the end of the game, but before that happens, I've got, another 5 power-ups to get, as well as a dozen diskettes. So it's going to be a little while before my final confrontation with the virus and whatever I'm going to actually do to stop that. I guess just shoot it a lot. My options are pretty limited. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to collect. I mean, an entire dozen diskettes. That's enough to install, Windows 98 on your computer. Thankfully, some of them are easier than others to get. For example, this one. A map. Now, this map I could actually get sometime around, when I first got the propeller, except didn't do that just because, it wasn't until right now that it would have fit in the little power-up lineup. I mean, it's way far on the end here for something that you can get fairly early. Also, the way that I originally found it was, of course, missing that hook point and then accidentally falling down into the drink. Good times, good times. Oh, speaking of which, probably want to watch out for that immediately. I'm also thinking that there's probably going to be a lot of cutting in this episode. Obviously, the diskettes are all around the entire ship, just strewn about everywhere. The scientists were very, very messy boys. So, I'm going to be jumping around a whole lot to be getting everything. However, with the map here, you can now see that the station is more filled out. This area down here is definitely going to be the main place to look at. But for the most part, you can kind of see like the basic edges of the ship, which gives you an idea of where you can and can't go, kind of. For the most part, sort of. Let's just say that. Alright, next power-up. But first, heal. I think that's actually just right over here, if I'm not mistaken. Probably don't even need to cut just yet. I hope. Because one of the things you might have noticed as I... God, it is so nice having the dash here, especially the vertical dash. But yes, one of the things you might have noticed is, one, this. I'll be there in a second. First, though, when I dropped down this shaft, there was something... Yep, on the right wall here. Much like the one energy tank that I had. Oh, come on now. Really doing well here, aren't I? To be fair, this is a little bit difficult room to be fighting in compared to most. There we go. But yes, it's very similar to when I dropped into the Sandrock area and managed to grab another one of the health tanks. And yes, that area over there is 100% a red herring. You're actually supposed to be going in from this side. Try not to accidentally get thwomped and... triple shot. Oh yeah. Now this is a very, very nice upgrade. I mean, look at this. Don't accidentally... There. Now I'm locked out, but it doesn't matter. And it's not even just that you get a triple shot, which is great in itself, but I do think that also when you have it charged up, it's much longer than your normal beam, which is great. Just absolutely fantastic. Phew. And yes, at any point in time, you can go over here and see the triple shot. It's just, you can't get to it until you're able to get to the upper jungle area. Oh, come on. These larvae are so annoying. And also the fact that those gamers sometimes are a little overexcited doesn't help a whole lot either. There we go. Alright, not too worried about taking a little bit of poison damage. I mean, I just need to get over to the teleporter here. And then right up to this area again, just to show you what's behind those red blocks. It's not any sort of actual upgrade or anything, but it is something, interesting, let's say. And there we go. Right up in here. Hey, I also used to play a game. In fact, I'm playing one right now. Yep. Challenge mode is the exact same thing as, the normal game, except you only have one hit point throughout the entire game. I am not going to be doing that. Champion nuke. Okay, now this is the more interesting thing. That is an explicit reference to Hero Core. Old, I mean, when I first saw this game, actually, one of the first things I thought of was Hero Core, because the character was made of basically 10 pixels, much like the robot in this game. If you are familiar with the game E.G., the creator of that, I want to say created Hero Core before making that game? So it's sort of weird to see it. I mean, obviously there's a huge amount of Metroid-style references in this game, but it's weird to see an explicit almost just straight up called out by name here. In some way I kind of like it, in some way I'm looking at it and I'm just kind of like, well, that's goofy. Yep. Uh-oh, and I'm dead. Oh well. Anywho, let's try that one again. The other thing I really like about Hero Core was that it introduced the difficulty stylings of Really Joel's Dad's mode. I have no idea what this is, by the way. I just, like, what? I mean, it sometimes makes like an expression or something. Well, whatever. Regardless, it's an interesting little Easter egg, whatever it's supposed to be. But yes, Hero Core introduced Really Joel's Dad's mode, which I guess was a dude named Really Joel. His dad was such a hardcore guy that he could he could fight against every single boss at one point in time. I mean, really, anytime you have some sort of like super idiosyncratic type of difficulty, you know, like name for difficulty, I'm a big fan of that. Like a Kyle mode in the latest Killer Instinct, the Killer Instinct 2016, or Keppa mode all the way in Death Road to Canada, which I really did give an attempt at beating that, but man, Keppa is not a very good character. Made a good game, very bad character. Of course, that's the joke, but you know, not where I meant to go. But yeah, no idea what the That's All Folks guy is, but hey, it's there and it's content to show off. And really now, if I'm here for nothing else, it's to show off every single little bit of content that I possibly can. Speaking of which, this is actually something that I probably should have gotten a little while ago. Over in the underwater dome, there is this little area over here, which actually, although I really can easily do this just by, say, using my vertical dash, the actual way you're supposed to do it is like that. Get a little bit of momentum, use that swing in the way that you're supposed to. This is also probably a good time to turn off triple shot, but I won't. I like triple shot too much. It's like, yeah, it probably would have been worthwhile to grab triple shot a lot earlier than this too, but at the same time, I just like to say that I don't want to be too overpowered in the late game here, because some of these things that you can get are very, very good. All right. Yes, this entire thing's a little race against time. But since I knew that, I was able to get over here easy peasy. Yep. Breaks that open, breaks, and then closes that right off. All right. Health increased by 2. We getting there. We really getting there. And I already know where, one of the other tanks is. I think I'm missing one, though, because I'm fairly certain it's supposed to go up to about, 30 health by endgame? And we're close to that, but not quite there yet. Anywho, you might have noticed on the map that directly above me, there seems to be a teleporter. And of course, there is also a power-up there. Specifically, the plasma field. And you don't actually need to use a teleporter to be able to teleport to it. You just need to see it. So all I need to do is go right up here. And, well, do the same sort of song and dance that I've been doing for quite a while now. There we are. Do the same sort of song and dance that Man, I tell you, every single time you go through the... Oh, yeah, there we go. Every single time you go through the underwater section here, you really see this part a lot. I mean, it's not too difficult with the, free XY movement with the propeller and everything, but I feel like I've done this run around many, many times. It all comes to the same sort of point that I made before about how these type of games, the Metroid-style games, can be quite long if you don't know what you're doing, and quite short if you do know what you're doing. There we are. And there we be. Plasma field. Take damage if they touch the 3 plasma balls that float around you. It's really not much damage, but for enemies like, say, the flying dudes or those tiny jellyfish, it'll take them out lickety-split, which I'm definitely very appreciative of. Let's just say that right now. And if I'm remembering correctly, I do believe that the next area I want to go to is that mysterious part of the bottom. The bottom part of the volcano area, which there's clearly a little bit more to explore down here. First thing to do, obviously get a little save. And then, yes, if I just go down from here, should be able to get where I need to go fairly easily. And then that should be the last of the power-ups for right now, and we're moving straight on to diskettes. That was very close. And wait 1 second. Oh, that was some expert Environmental Station Alpha-ing. Yes, you might remember this from way before. The fact that there was this little area that you can clearly not get through until now. Yeah, take a guess what's gonna happen. Hi! Now, the great thing about the multi-core is that it is super hugely countered by having the triple shot. Each one of the little colored lights on the side of it are vulnerable to damage, and more specifically doing a charged up attack. And having triple shot means that, oh no, that's very bad. And having triple shot means that you can shoot all 3 of those dots at the same time. It's kind of interesting. And of course, it's like you can also beat it just with normal shots and everything like that, but man, if you got the ability to use the triple shot, why wouldn't you? This boss is clearly designed to be beaten by it. And before I get a little bit too overzealous, he does have one more attack once you destroy at least one of his lights. This one, the yellow attack, where what he does is kill me, apparently. But yeah, shoot a bunch of little yellow pellets and also raise the lava level. Oh no! That was one more hit left! There. And also very clear glitch at the bottom there where the lava, for some reason, becomes transparent. Why? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, very, very easy boss if you got the triple shot. Maybe a little bit difficult if you don't. Which, the first time I fought this guy, I did not have the triple shot, and you had to be a bit more choosy, like jumping on the sides of the arena here to try to like hit each one of the side lights equally so you don't have to deal with the yellow phase too often. Very annoying stuff. This is a quite jolly computer. Thanks. But I don't... Well, anyway, yeah, it would have been very useful, but oh, hey, as it turns out, for some reason the guy didn't take it with him. He just stashed it up here. So, good try, but looks like I am going to win in the end here. I don't know, whatever. You do have to deal with a couple of these elite robot guys, which is quite irritating. Oh, yes, and also stalactites. Can't forget about those. Can never forget about those. So, this entire little section is a very difficult platforming deal. It actually reminds me a lot of... Yeah. Oh, come on. I had that. What are you talking about? Actually reminds me a lot of the Hollow Knight type of platforming sections, which you would use to get like one of the various upgrade materials, whether it's mask shards or soul vessels or anything like that. This one, thankfully, I would say not as bad in a lot of respects, although there is one section here, this one, that is quite terrible to deal with. So, obviously don't have the ability to quite get up there. However, you remember when I got the vertical dash and I talked about how, say, damage boosting is a thing? Well, that's why there's a fire bar there. So all I need to do is... oh, not quite. Yeah, you just get hit by that bar, and then, yeah, there we go. No! So close. Yeah, you just get hit by that bar, grapple up. It's easy, but it's also very... rough. It's a sort of thing that I would imagine it would be quite difficult if I was doing this in challenge mode, but having this amount of health, not too bad. Oh yes, also something I didn't mention about challenge mode is that you do start off with the heat resistant suit, so you're not going to, say, immediately die the second that you get into the Norfair section, just because, you know, you otherwise would take constant damage just existing in that area. So, you know... Oh, no! I don't know. I was kind of hoping the dash might get me there, but it looks like... You know, I think that this is about a good time for a... This is about a good time for a cut. Oh, that was actually all that difficult at all now, was it? Oh, well, not... Huh. How about that? A big skull. The supercharge module. All your shots are now charged up. Yeah, when I was talking about some of these power-ups being quite overpowered, like the ability to just constantly do charged up shots at all points in time. Oh yeah. I mean, granted, you do really have to earn that. That is not an easy area to get through, but still, it's like, the reward is worth it. And that's actually to the point that I am probably going to be turning that off for the final boss, just so it kind of stands a chance. But know this. It definitely just tears through the final boss. Alright, first and easiest diskette to get is the one right down here. I mean, you might have seen this area and been like, oh, it looks like there's something over here. Well, there definitely is. Data diskette. Maybe it sold some information. Yeah, I don't think so. Robot's gonna have to be quite careful here because of all these tasty data diskettes around. And robots find those things delicious. Next thing, just right over here, is actually a health upgrade. Okay, so I thought this was a diskette, but I guess I was incorrect. Never mind. Yeah, I mean, I knew there was some sort of secret there, but I guess it wasn't quite the thing that I was thinking of. Just right past here. Plasma shield also obviously takes care of the... Uh-oh. I'm okay, though. Plasma shield also obviously takes care of the big piles of garbage pretty well. Not that those are the most threatening type of enemies to be facing, but hey, you know... They still can be somewhat annoying, even though you do have to kind of, you know, face tank them pretty well for the plasma shield to work proper. Anyway, much like the previous area, just dash right through that one. Well, by previous area, I mean the overcharge module area. Alright. Should be pretty obvious what this is. A timed section. And the timing, from what I remember, is a little bit tight, so I want to kind of... be careful. Oh, ended tighter than I thought. All right. I got plenty of health, though. You know, actually, before I do this. Got it. Okay, wow, that was real close, but I managed to do it anyway. There we are. You know, I think that this is the, this may just be the only button in the game like this. I'm not entirely sure there's another one that appears anywhere, which is interesting. A neat little factoid, to be sure. And then, would have had that though. Yep. And this room, the one where I got the rough map, this was like the very first diskette that I discovered, all the way up there. And this one is not difficult to get at all. I guess it's only if you're not really familiar with the concept of a invisible wall. Nah, definitely one of the easier ones to get. Might even be the very first one you're supposed to get, but I don't know. Maybe. All right, yes, I do believe that this is the next one. Yep, right here. Those blue blocks in the floor bedeviled me for quite a while, trying to figure out exactly what they're supposed to do. That was incredibly frustrating. Anyway, it's just right in here. And yeah, you're kind of supposed to use the little electric blobs to show you where the areas you can go to are. Again, another unique enemy, I do believe. How did you get in here? I don't actually remember now. You know, I'm looking at this here and I'm like, hey, it's easy. So simple. A child could do it. But now I actually don't remember. It's just... Okay, there we are. Knock another one off the list. And then... I mean, it's not even a very difficult maze or anything like that. It's just almost an advanced version of the... Just an advanced version of that one bit from the temple, where you were able to go do that. And then the escape route just right up here, down, and then up. A little bit of extra damage isn't anything to worry too much about, but hey, if I can avoid taking it, that's only for the better. Ah, yes, and very close to that previous area, if I just go right down here. Something you might have noticed if you are an eagle-eye viewer is that right up there, a very suspicious little area. All I gotta do is just get right in here. And in a diskette-shaped room, because why not? Get another one. Hooray! I really don't know why it's diskette-shaped, but whatever. Oh yes, now that I have the triple shot here, I can get this little secret. Now there was someplace all the way in the... I don't even remember if I showed this, but there was someplace all the way in the water dome that said that there was a... that they left their CD or music player or something like that in this area. And you remember how I was talking about this thing being a little bit of a red herring? Well, there's a very specific sort of glitch that you're supposed to perform here. You see these one-way little platforms that you can go up like this. If you hook onto a wall while standing on one, you go right through it. Yeah, get that nice Genesis sound card bassiness to it. But yeah, you just get like a little alternate track for this area. And unfortunately, as soon as you go out of this area, you can't really hear it anymore. So I'll give it a couple more seconds. Oh, and I guess that's it. Ah, well, there was your little, look at what it would be like if this came out for the Genesis. Alright, okay. Not a very difficult area. This is obviously an area that, right underneath the D-class Guardians, that I could have gone to for quite a while, but didn't just because the only thing it holds is another diskette. Which, as important as those are and everything, not really the most essential type of thing, after all. Also, having the vertical dash and everything makes it a lot easier to, you know, do this stuff. Yep. There we go. Ah, thank God for that good vertical dash. And I guess that's just a way to get up here easily in case I screw up. But I'm not going to screw up, though. Uh-oh, I'm already screwing up. Uh-oh, it's already going very poorly right now. And I don't think there's any way that you can ever kill the Tremors worm dude, which is going to be an issue for something like right now where I'm dying. All right, round 2. Fight. Much, much better. Not really that difficult, but you can still screw it up pretty easily. Anyway, another diskette down. Nice good look at the outside of the ship. I don't know, I'd be kind of worried about the worm, say, I don't know, digging through the sand rock here, but I guess that's not too much of a concern of theirs. And right back up here. And we can continue on to the next diskette, which I actually believe is very close to this area, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't even need to do a cut as of, well, just yet. We'll see in a couple seconds. Yeah, I think it's right up here that I want to go. No, this is the area to get to the... Ow. That. Which, I'm gonna have to do soon enough. But not just yet. Not just yet. I guess it's probably right over here, which is what I want to do for the time being. Well, it doesn't really matter because I have the whole vertical dash and everything. So, man, that's one of the things I really like about, you know, roguelikes, about Metroidvania-like games like this. It's that at some point in time, it just gets very, very easy to deal with some of this stuff. Oh, this is where the music thing actually happened. Never mind. I thought I looked at this. Oh, there you go, and I already found it. Yep. Yeah, I suppose that would probably help until you died. Which you definitely did die. Again, decades after this place shut down. Is this the place I want to go to? No, I guess not. Though I do want to hit up this section because you might have noticed that in the ceiling here... Oh, that's a teleporter. One that I now have committed to teleport memory. So that will be very helpful in the future. But yes, one of the things I was saying was that, one of the things I really like about Metroid-style games like this is that it's actually quite easy to overcome a lot of the challenges just by getting enough upgrades. And stuff like exploring around here, you know, just kind of combing through every individual area, trying to find every secret that you possibly can. It's like it actually works out pretty well when you have a bunch of things like the diskettes here, which are all very well hidden and then sometimes quite difficult to get to as well. So it's like as much as I bellyache about there being a whole lot of backtracking, you know, kind of wandering back and forth, not quite sure what to do. Got it. There are definitely some things that this sort of genre excels at over any other one out there. Speaking of which, apparently we got the sequel to Hollow Knight announced coming out soon. Or coming out, well, eventually. It was announced. So, oh boy, really looking forward to that. For doing like another 40 hours of that game. Actually, it was like 60 by the end of that. And that was only that one save file. Thankfully, this one didn't take quite as long. Of course, it's one of these elite robots again. Thankfully, hitting them with maximum overdrive is... I think that was not what I meant to do. Aw, crap. Yep, that was not what I meant to do. Aw, crap. Alright, that was... Yes, that was not the way I was supposed to do that. I'm supposed to go over here. Yes, there we go. Simple, easy. And yet still screwed it up somehow anyway. Ah, yes, one of the really nice things about the plasma shield is that it can take out those... Oh, I gotta do this. Hey, yo. Ah, there we go. You can take out these purple rings very easily. Alright, glad I don't have to do that one again, because finding a teleporter can be something of a trial sometimes. And this little area over here by the derelict ship. Actually, before I do that, I should go into the derelict ship because there is one diskette in here that I almost forgot about. And it wouldn't be very fun to have to come, make the entire trek back here. As much as I do really like the derelict ship as a place, I think that it's like the idea that it's so much more broken down, like even the palette they use is very good at making that come across, as well as the, I don't know, very Chick Corea type music. It's like, I love everything about this little section. I think it's one of the coolest parts of the game. Definitely just gives a totally different feel than the rest of it, which is neat. And also, I did have it pointed out in the comments of the last section that it might not be that these are unique monsters, but just extremely rusty robots that were brought in that, have just been sitting on the ship for a very long time, which, considering how kind of grimy and dilapidated, well, derelict this place is, that would make a lot of sense. However, I would also argue that the guys that roll around, the big hedge, let's just call them Sonics, probably more likely to be, like organic type creatures and not robots, but still definitely a very good point made. I still really like this little area. I mean, I guess that gives you a good view of the station as well, if you care about that sort of thing. I mean, it does look very nice from the outside. You can obviously see that. You can obviously see that from, like, the opening screen, the title screen of the game and everything like that. And I don't know, maybe these guys just snuck in from space or something. I don't know. Many options here. So I cannot believe the amount of bubblegum still stuck on this ship. It's very gross. Ew. Anyway, now that I have the gold key card, I just need to... Yep. There we go. I mean, I don't really know why a data disk on the... Right. I don't really know why a data disk on the derelict ship would have information about what happened to the station, but probably has information about what happened to the derelict ship, if nothing else, but... Well, I'll just say not to get your hopes up. Alright, let's get out of here, because there was one area right next to the teleporter. I pointed out in the previous part that there was a... There we go. I pointed out in the previous part that there were a couple of the red blocks next to the teleporter, which were just an alternate way of getting down into one of the into the area below it, underneath it. But still, it is a way to get over to that one diskette that I pointed out way long ago, all the way in the, well, way long ago. I guess it was like an hour and a half in real time if you're, say, binge watching this series. In the underwater dome. And right down here. Now all I need to do is just press left and down this time. I'll get exactly where I need to go. And there it is. That should be most of the diskettes here. And also another unique enemy, an underwater mine. Appears nowhere else in the game. I do appreciate the amount of just unique little oddities and weird things in this game. It kind of surprises me, just the amount of stuff that's used in a single area, or maybe even just a single time, and then sort of discarded like that. It's interesting. It's a refusal to go by like the norm with video games of trying to, if you create something, trying to make sure that the player sees it and, you know, does something with it and interacts with it as much as they possibly can, all of that sort of deal. Environmental Station Alpha don't play like that. It doesn't mind if you don't happen to see everything, or you don't appreciate the existence of this single enemy just because, you know, there was some time that went into programming it. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that sort of aesthetic, that sort of style that it's going for. Of course, just in general, I'm also a big fan of a bunch of secrets and, you know, like little optional content and everything like that. Obviously, every single time I do a series, I make a great pains to try to show off everything I possibly can. And this, obviously no different. I could have very easily just gone straight to the AI core and beaten the game already, but nah, we doing everything, even if it's not entirely necessary. Even if I'm going to actively turn off some of the stuff here as I say I'm going up against the final boss. Gotta make things fair, man. Gotta make things interesting. Anyway, this is another little area that I pointed out quite a while back. Little gold keycard door, which I just... Oh, wow, that was a bigger swing than I thought it was going to be. Alright. So, we got the Ender unit. No, it's not actually called the Ender unit. It's called the Mender unit, except the background is sort of cutting that off a little bit. Why is it called the Mender unit, you might ask? That's why. Heals itself. And this is the reason why I didn't want to get all of the diskettes before I, say, got the overcharge module. Because the overcharge module makes it much, much more reasonable to deal with this guy. In fact, I don't really know exactly how possible it is to deal with this guy without the overcharge module. I mean, it's probably possible, it's just a lot slower is the thing. Obviously, triple shot doing the exact same thing, making it so that I don't even need to jump to be able to hit this guy. Just a little bonus boss here. I like it. I like still getting more bosses, even though, you know, completely optional bosses. Optional bosses are cool. They're fun. Even though, you know, obviously not really the most difficult of optional bosses to go fight here. Maybe it does. Alright, and then I think, what, the last 2 or so diskettes are just in the temple right here. And of course, if there was a hidden wall up above me, of course there's going to be a hidden wall down below me. I mean, if you guess that one, you win a no prize. If you're unaware of what a no prize is, Marvel used to give them out for giving explanations for things in lore to try to preserve canon. It's a fun concept that I really like, and I think eventually they just kind of gave up doing it, but for a time, it was neat. Maybe it holds some information. And yep, that's how you get the one in here, which is otherwise not quite what you would expect from this room, I would like to say. Where it's like it's not really, it seemed like you would be able to get there from a different direction, but not so fast. Don't be so hasty. Anyway, obviously the last one I pointed out in a previous episode, but Not gonna do that one quite yet. Still, I want to make sure that I have full health before I go down there, just in case I say run into a little bit of trouble with the traps and everything that I'm going to be running into. Just gonna do this one real quick, and then hang around on the outside of the ship to see what's going on. Even with my incredible vertical dash, as much as I love it, it is unfortunately not enough to help me get up this area. Or not this area, I keep forgetting that there's the shaft that goes down to the robed guardian boss. Much easier to do with that vertical dash. Yeah, there's the diskette. Now I just gotta... Whoop. Nope, I have to wait a little bit longer than that at least. From what I remember, what you want to do is you want to look at one of the metal blocks and then swing at about the point in time that you get to that to make it work. Which one? I don't remember. But certainly this might require a couple attempts. If it gets too much, I'll just cut. Oh, there we go. Cool. And it worked out totally fine. Maybe it does. Interesting little area over here. Just another one of the many statues. This time one's carrying scales? I don't know. The temple remains one of the bigger mysteries on the ship, but it's like, I suppose that, you know, with like the robed guardian and the various statuary about here, it kind of answers a little bit of what it is, but still quite unusual. All right, now let's check to see if I did in fact manage to get all of the discs here. And of course, before I do that, hey George Melons, I still don't know who you are. Yes, you might remember that right in here is the diskette room, so there's 12 of them, and there we are. All right, so what's the incredible lore about what happened to this area that we're going to find out from the diskettes? Let's see. Yeah, that's right, it's just concept art. I mean, it's pretty neat concept art to be sure, but it's like, yeah, it's not quite the incredible lore dump that you say might have wanted when you were collecting these things. Yellow and green is still an interesting sort of coloration for that area. Yep, big old tubes, lots of rust. That's the underwater area, if you're telling me. Cave. Not too much on the temple. You would think that you would see a little bit more here, like maybe in the concept art, seeing a little bit more lore behind exactly what that is, but no such luck. Derelict ship, I do think that the thing you get on the derelict ship is the derelict ship's concept art, but it's just a big overall view of it. Control hub, that's what this was called. I can't remember exactly what I thought it was. I think I said something like the core or something in one of the previous episodes was control hub, along with one of those shambling mold creatures in there too. And that's where I'm going to be going pretty soon. And there's also a couple of these notes things, which I think are just showing you where you can find some of the various like power-ups or whatever. I don't know. I never really looked too much into them because I managed to find pretty much everything before I got to this point anyway. And there is, of course, one more thing to do. It's not just a bunch of nice art of everything here. In this area, there is a gold keycard door right up here that I never really looked too much at. However, now that I have all of the diskettes, and yes, that spins faster and faster the more diskettes you get, otherwise it's empty. Now, why do computer disks do that? I don't know. I don't actually have an answer for you or anything, but it's there, certainly. And there you are. The final power-up. You ready? Y'all ready for this? Whoops. Try that one again. Yeah, and it really requires that you have every single other power-up before this one. So what is it? The Dash Booster X. You can now dash freely. Freely. That's right. It's like you can just dash forever. You get straight up flying as the final power-up of this game. It's actually kind of great. Of course, not too many places that you can use it in. However, they do give you this little dash arena to kind of test your mettle, as it were. Ah! Not that stops me from screwing it up anyway. It is a fantastic power-up that I don't know exactly how necessary it is. Alright, and that's... Oh, no, it's not quite everything. I shouldn't forget that, yes, there is, of course, the... Now, you might be asking, did you wait until you had the ability to fly to go get that final health tank? And I mean, well... Yes. Yes, I did. So let's just go do that one right now. Right down here. Now, wasn't that so much easier than trying to do whatever sort of crazy jumping that they ask you to do? There's a full 30. That's everything. So that means, I guess it's just final boss and we done. I'm gonna probably make a quick split in recording just to make sure that I have this preserved, but yeah, we're just about there. All right, and all the way back in the very first area of the game so that I can go up here. Because, of course, this has been available to me for a little while, but it required that I actually got the vertical dash to get up here proper. Not that really matters with the X dash like this. And although technically I actually really don't need to do much of anything in this particular area, it's like, oh man, look at this little like a hook shot type arena. Doesn't matter at all. But yeah, I technically don't need to go through this whole rigmarole because I went through the top area to find the challenge computer thing, managed to grab this teleporter. It's like, this is the way that you're actually supposed to do it. This is like the intended route and everything. Where you get to see a good, like, a showing of... Awesome. Where you get to see a good showing of, like, all of the various different type of basic enemies in the game and their more advanced forms. Including the advanced form of the Gamer, which I don't think appear anywhere else. Of course, not that it really matters, because... Whoop! Oh man, the X dash is so great. And you usually don't get too much ability to use it after you get it, but as you can see, there is if you manage to get it a little bit early. And then there's and that's the actual route. That's the actual route you're supposed to get back to this area in the first place here. So, now that that is accomplished, let's get right over to, well, I mean, where else? Where it all began. Which, I mean, it's still the same area that it was at the very start of the game. It's just, you can go over here now. Save right there. And let's do this. Yes, the AI core. This is when it's going to get real. Of course, again, most of the challenge here is going to be kind of completely screwed up by the fact that I have the X dash. Which I would like to say that for my work, I've definitely earned this. And this, you need to actually beat this guy to get through here. Otherwise, that area doesn't open. And I kept thinking that you couldn't actually defeat that thing, so it took me quite a while to kind of figure out how to get in there. Annoying. But not a big deal. Obviously, all you're supposed to do is just kind of do a little bit of a... Obviously, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do a little bit of a hook shot and V-dash action, but I don't need to do that. And with the triple shot and everything else, I don't really need to worry about that here, but... Good stuff. Nice, calm, peaceful music for the final area. And then, yeah, you're just supposed to do it like that, but I don't need to, because I got the X-Dash. Ah, it feels so good. Feels good to be a gangster. All the way in the very first part of the game. Now we're finally facing it, the Class A Guardian. Not at all difficult. Those are actually the only two moves he has. Shooting this laser here and shooting that big bubble. And they're actually very easy to dodge. It's like, it's a surprise. I mean, this is for the penultimate boss of the game. It's actually surprisingly kind of disappointing. Even without the ridiculous overpoweredness that I'm working with right now. It's like you don't really... It's not really entirely... It's not a difficult boss anyway. And I can just go right out here. Get a little bit of a save point. Actually, no, I don't need to go for a save point right here. But if I didn't want to continue on through the area, that's the sort of like bailout point. Into that part again. Because after you beat the Class A Guardian, that stays open. Feeling a little nervous? Because when I was talking about shooting you to death, it's like, I think that with the loadout that I have right now, it's definitely more possible than ever. However, before I go in here, just do that. And yeah, even with the security system down, this is still trying its best to make sure that I can't get in here, which is frustrating. All right. 2, 3, and bam. All right, and since we're almost there, I am going to turn off the supercharge module just so it's not too crazy, because like I said, you can really tear through the final boss here if you have that thing on. Exactly as you saw him in the diskette image. Yeah, yo, what up? Mm-hmm. Too bad. The little bit of a mirror match type of thing going on here with a robot very similar to you. Yeah. Obviously, Plasma Field doing a surprisingly good job here. But I do have to be a little bit careful, especially of that shockwave, which I didn't realize went as far as it did. There we go. Whew. Obviously, if I had the overcharge module on, that fight would have been over before it pretty much began. 8A, oh no. Part 2. Another, almost got me there. Another eyeball type of robot. And yeah, it's got that same sort of ability that the AI core had in the first fight that I had against him. Ah, he got me. And yeah, that one's a little bit difficult to dodge. Just because the swords persist for just long enough. There we go. Yeah, you gotta kind of get it to... Kind of gotta goad it over to one side before taking out the... There we go. Kind of gotta goad it over to one side before trying to dodge one of those swords. There's 2 robots taken out. I know, right? I mean, I actually took quite a bit of damage in the last fight. I mean... And thus, so do I. Yep, I mean, this really is just the... Hey, come on. This really is just the virus now. Whatever the AI originally was is no longer in there. Oh, thanks. So, this is where you live? Download to the mainframe for proper deletion. Much like I said earlier, considering that I'm a robot, this does not really seem like the ability to be downloaded into the mainframe means that there might be an issue here. Obviously, if I was dashing a little bit better, this would be easier. Probably going to have to do this another time, another try. Moody little final boss fight. Like no music or anything, just kind of sound effects. Yeah, and you can only get a single hit in on there, and it does like four damage if you get hit by the blue circle around here. X dash obviously helping out a lot. Not too disappointed about that at all. Doing surprisingly well. Ah, there it is. Good timing. All right, doing this a second time. That means that I can just bring out the big guns and just take out the overcharge module right away. Show you how this boss fight goes when you are armed to the gills. And obviously this is going to be the first time where hitting escape to skip dialogue is going to be very helpful for me. So, I still got hit anyway? Come on. Now that's just bad on my part. Now that's my bad. And there we go. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah. Download me into the mainframe or whatever, including my entire body, which is presumably made out of metal or something. Maybe I'm one of them newfangled holographic robots. Something that I just made up right now. Do. And just dash right up there. And dash right up there again. Much, much better and easier. And there we go, and there we go. Also, obviously, X dash helping a lot, just kind of keeping me in the air at all points in time. Well, right. I thought that was the fist slam down. Not quite the same thing. And there we are. A very strange design for the final boss, I want to say. There we go. Some sort of like Cyclops thing? I don't know, it's weird. Oh, actually hit him one more time. For some reason he didn't activate his shield there. And one hit left. Should be gravy. Alright, sit back, relax, and watch the extremely predictable ending.